G'day there guys, the Lego block said 6 to 99 years, but joke's on you, I can't count. Welcome back to another episode of r/am I the a-hole. It's your host Markee. I hope you enjoy today's stay. Chuck a prawn on the barbie if you would like. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's bloody good content. Thank you. Posted by user Logical Preference 73. Titled, Am I the a-hole for getting a girl at work fired for having an OnlyFans account? So I, 30 female, work as a financial advisor at a rather large and well-known firm, along with my coworker T, mid-20s female. One lunchtime, T was having a discussion with us about how she had started an OnlyFans and was already getting subscribers. She said they should forget about slaving away at a desk for a company and take their future into their own hands, etc. Kinda sounds like a multi-level marketing scheme, except you're selling your body now, not stupid products. Okay. T then told me I should try it. I brushed this off and said it's just not something I'd like to do. She asked me why, and I shrugged and said, just because. It's like asking me if I'd like to become an actress or a doctor. Neither appeal to me. However, T didn't see it that way and said, "What? Do you think you're better than me?" I said no, of course not. I just wouldn't consider doing sex work as a career. T took great offense, saying that if I'm happy earning peanuts working my life away for a boss just for dignity, then that's on me, and I mustn't judge her for wanting to make a better future for herself, that she's not ashamed of what she's doing. She also said, when your children ask you why they were poor their whole lives, you can tell them it's because you had too much dignity to provide for them more. By the way, I have 2 children, and I'm fully able to provide for them. This pissed me off. She got up and went back to her desk. At this point, one of my other colleagues, in a much higher managerial position, had overheard her and asked me what had happened. So I told her. After all, T's words were, she wasn't ashamed of what she was doing. She seemed very open about it. My colleague said nothing and we went back to work. I thought nothing more of it, though I was irritated by T's comments about my children and financial status. I put most of my earnings into my home, family, and investments. I drive a pretty standard-looking vehicle, and my dress sense is rather plain, I guess. About a week later, I noticed T was no longer coming into work. One of the girls she hung out with a lot at lunchtime was shooting me angry looks and speaking in hushed tones to their usual group. When I sat down, the girl turned to me and said, "Are you pleased with yourself?" I asked why, and she said, "We all know you told the boss about T's OnlyFans account to get her fired." I was taken aback, then remembered mentioning it to my colleague that day. I went to her office to ask what had happened. She told me that she had decided to investigate T's social media, which listed our company as her workplace on her profile. Her IG was full of risque photos to push her OnlyFans. As her IG and Facebook profiles were easily connected, my colleague said it was openly moonlighting in a way that did not reflect well on the company, and reported it. T was called into a meeting, which ended in her being dismissed. I now feel responsible for T losing her job. Her friends have branded me an asshole, telling everyone I'm a jealous bitch, a slut-shamer, etc. My colleague told me T had it coming and I must not feel bad. Reddit? Am I the asshole? I don't think so in this situation. I feel like T had it coming for herself when, I don't know, she decided to fling mud at everyone that didn't agree with her and didn't want to be a sex worker. It's all well and dandy to be a sex worker. It's all well and dandy to respect people that are sex workers. But when someone doesn't want to be a sex worker, you don't then shame them and attack them for not wanting to be it, and then shame and attack them and their children and their, role as a mother. T was really reaching for insults there, and she went for the personal jab, which is just not acceptable, especially in a workplace environment. As far as the Instagram and Facebook profile, that's on her. She could have put herself as an alias and not connected herself to her real identity, as a lot of people do. That seems to be the crux of the issue here, and as a result, she was dismissed. To me, that's neither here nor there. I feel like that's a her issue. It doesn't really play into the fact of is she an a-hole or not. I just wanted to talk about it. Ultimately, I don't think it's OP's fault here. OP was just trying to damage control in this situation, and it ended up in T losing her job. That's unfortunate, but that's the way of the world. Not the a-hole OP. G3 Nerrick says, not the a-hole. I'm pro-sex worker, but young people especially need to A. Understand how their social media presence represents their company, therefore what implications that can have, and B. She shouldn't be talking about her OnlyFans at work. It's unprofessional and not appropriate conversation. She was extra rude to you. The conversation was overheard, and it's her own problem. I would be reporting the other girls for bullying too. This isn't high school. It's a professional place of employment. Grow up or get out. The Stank Police replies, I worked for a tech company that employed a somewhat popular streamer. One time while streaming, this person got a donation that praised the streamer for helping the donator through a suicidal rough patch. Said streamer went on this horrible rant in return. It went viral fairly quickly. Streamer displayed tech company affiliation all over their social media bios, so it quickly got back to the tech company. It was the final straw in a bunch of recent incidents, and the employee was voluntold to resign. Streamer could literally not grasp the concept that their actions reflected poorly on the company. I specifically remember the phrase, my thoughts don't represent the company. Why can't company understand that? Kel Everything's 19 says, not the a-hole. She got herself fired plain and simple. Linking her social media accounts to the company also means she would have been found out sooner or later anyway. Such a colossally stupid thing to do. I don't see a person with such poor judgment and that little common sense advancing very far in their career. Well, luckily, it seems like she has a backup that pays much better. And I want to pass this one on to you guys in the comments now. What do you think of this situation? Do you think it was fair and just that OP, was attacked by these people? And do you think it was fair that she got fired for her OnlyFans account, affiliation to the company, and everything she did to get herself fired previous to that? Have you guys been in similar situations to this? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next post is by user Sweet Sticky Throwaway, titled, Am I the a-hole for convincing my girlfriend not to wear a white dress on our wedding day? So, me, 32 male, and my soon-to-be wife, 23 female, are planning to get married in a few months. I come from a very religious household with strong Christian beliefs, and one of the traditions in my family is if the woman getting married isn't still a virgin, they shouldn't wear a white dress on their wedding day. My family knows my soon-to-be wife wasn't a virgin when I met her, because my mum asked me when I started dating her if she was pure. And I was honest and told her she had boyfriends before she met me. My wife was really upset when I asked her if she could wear a colored dress on our wedding day, but she agreed, so we're looking at getting a glittery blue dress instead. Now she's saying she won't marry me because she's too humiliated by the whole situation, but I really don't see how it's a big deal. Am I the a-hole? I'm sorry, OP, were you bludgeoned upon the head as a child by this family of yours? Why the fuck are you pandering to this stupid archaic view that your family holds? No one else cares but you and your mother and perhaps a select few people. And you're letting their judgment destroy this beautiful relationship you have with your wife? I don't even see how this is a situation that the internet needs to know about. This is between you and your wife. If you have to ask the internet if your wife's being upset was, unfounded, unjust, and the fact that she's too humiliated by the whole situation and won't marry you, just for affirmation of your views, you are really stupid. How is it not a common sense thing for you in this situation to be like, this is shaming my wife, not wearing a white dress on her wedding day. Everyone wears a white dress on their wedding day. It's her choice, she wants to wear it. It's not her choosing to not wear a white dress. You're banning her from wearing a white dress and shaming her if she doesn't. You are categorically a bad person, OP. Get over yourself. You're the a-hole. Now in the comments, Acceptable Letter 331 says, "You're the a-hole. For a dude marrying a girl nearly a decade younger, you sure are worried about what mummy thinks." Quote, "So me and my wife are planning to get married in a few months. I assume you mean fiancé. Quote, I come from a very religious household with strong Christian beliefs, and one of the traditions in the family is if the woman getting married isn't still a virgin, they shouldn't wear a white wedding dress on their wedding day. This is not a Christian tradition, nor is it a modern tradition. There is no Christian color for virginity in marriage or anything else. Biblically, unmarried or virgin women wore multicolored robes. Read the story of how Tamar ripped hers to shreds after being raped. Until the early 20th century, blue was the traditional color of purity, and weddings were generally held with people wearing whatever their best clothes were. White became en vogue because of Queen Victoria's white gown. The idea of a white wedding was and is a marketing ploy to get people to buy a piece of clothing for one day. Now, white denotes wedding or first marriage. If you want to herald your fiancé's sexual history, should we assume you're wearing a white tuxedo to prove your own purity? And the family knows the wife wasn't a virgin part. This is sick. And I can't believe your girlfriend stayed with you after this. 1. None of mum's business. None of yours either, unless she was actively pregnant or had an STD. And 2. Purity doesn't equal virginity. Ha, sneaky edits, I mean virginity does not equal purity. Silly Markee brain. Quote, your wife was really upset, looking at a glittery blue dress instead. Your, again, I assume you mean fiancé, has every right to be upset. Again, where's your purity pledge to her and her family? And now the am I the a-hole part? You are now lying. If it wasn't a big deal, you wouldn't have snitched to your mother, and you wouldn't have tried to make your fiancé wear a prom dress to her own wedding. Hopefully she sees this for the red flag it is, and leaves. Nanny Live says, you're the a-hole. I'm a 65-year-old Christian grandmother, and that is an unkind, judgmental, and controlling thing for you to do. Truly, it is spirit-crushing to hear when people pretend that this kind of finger-pointing idea is of Christian in nature. He makes all things new. If you want to love and honor her as your wife, ask her forgiveness and God's for being unkind, and encourage her to choose whatever dress she wants. And I guess I'll throw it to you guys. What do you think of this entire situation? Would you just dump this guy and leave his ass for treating you unkindly? Because I sure know that I bloody would. Anyway guys, I'd love to know what you think down in the comments. Our next post is by user EnvironmentalPut2191, titled, Am I the a-hole for setting a pee trap for my wife? Hello everyone. I'm a 39-year-old man and am married to a 31-year-old woman. First, sorry about the pee trap terminology. Her words, not mine. Ever since my wife and I were just dating, she tried to be very insistent that I sit down to urinate. I do not want to sit down to urinate, and so I do not. Frankly, I don't think it's any of her business how I pee anyway. For years now, and especially lately, every time she goes to the bathroom, she does this crazy-eyed thing where she looks down at the floor, groans, and then pulls out paper towels and cleaning spray to wipe it up. I do not pee on the floor and never have, but she calls it Splash Mountain regularly. Recently, I had something of a revelation when, as usual, we were having an argument about this topic, and she said that all men pee on the floor every time they go to the restroom. It seems like she is outright hellbent on proving a point. Anyway, the other day I had had enough. I went to the restroom, stood over the toilet for a minute, closed the lid, and flushed. Then I called her in. I asked her to point at where I had peed because I'm trying to change my behavior. And in a couple of seconds she pointed at a spot and said, there. The spot was clean. I hadn't used the bathroom since the day before. I told her as much, and she got incredibly upset. She said I had set a pee trap, and that what I did was really mean to her. Then she insisted that every time I go to the bathroom, I pee on the floor again. I've had enough. I think she's just trying to get out of the fact that I caught her in her crap. But she has doubled down on her behavior and is completely convinced I'm a relentless asshole. Am I? I don't think I did anything wrong, all things considered. I too don't think you did anything wrong, all things considered. I think if anything, she's being the relentless asshole, and this is a genuine form of gaslighting here. Maybe she's having problems with her pissing, and that's what's getting all over the toilet. And instead of owning up to the fact and, being a normal adult and cleaning it yourself and not making a deal of it, she's being a child and yelling at you, and then doing the stereotype, all men piss everywhere when they go for a piss. It's just natural, it's just normal. You guys are disgusting. Very stupid argument there, and that's a quick way to start a fight that no one wants to have. I think, OP, you did a really good thing by, pissing and then being straight away like, look, it wasn't me, you're being crazy. It doesn't seem like she wants to accept that reality. She wants an excuse to continuously yell at you and, make fun of you for something you don't do. Screw her, not the a-hole. A fucking pair of all things says, not the a-hole. Your wife has been trying to start problems where there aren't any just to get you to pee a certain way. Unless you were lying and actually have been peeing on the floor, that's super weird and slightly controlling of her. Anus Fungi replies, agreed without the asshole. Even if she was trying to change his behavior, what she did in this situation is pretty weird. And as a married couple, they should communicate about it. This is beyond the scope of Reddit, disagree. The only thing I would have changed is, when she was caught in her act, saying, now you're in trouble. Ha! Fuck, I should have thought of that. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, OP. Forks the Phoenix 7 says, not the a-hole. This is not normal behavior. She should really talk to someone. Agreed. Your behavior highlighted how irrational her behavior and thinking is. She needs therapy, not the asshole. Snowy Mountains Bear says, not the a-hole. Mind you, my doctor told me I had to sit down to pee because I'm not allowed to lift anything heavy. Ha! Do you clean the bathroom as well, or is that solely her job? If you don't clean the bathroom, then sitting to pee would show respect for your wife. Yeah, I see a lot of people on this thread saying, I do not get to pee on the floor. There isn't splashback. You'd have to suck at peeing to get pee anywhere but in the toilet, etc. But I'm a house cleaner, and I can tell you that 95% of the houses I clean with men living there have pee splatter on the floor. It's inevitable. Pee does in fact splash up. You don't have to miss the bowl for there to be pee on the floor. Has no one in the comments cleaned a bathroom? You're the a-hole for making her clean up after you, not for standing or your dumb prank. I was so surprised of how many people just ignored her feelings of disgust having to clean every time she enters the bathroom just so she doesn't get pee on herself. What do you guys think about this one? Do you think OP's the asshole, or is the wife the asshole, or is everyone the asshole here? And have you been in a similar situation to this? That's given me some pause and food for thought, these last two comments. I'm not sure where I stand now. I'd love to know what you guys think. And our last post for the day is by user AnxiousCommon5245, titled, Am I the a-hole for confronting a worker who corrected me in front of my children? Yes, this is a fake account, and no, I'm not using real names. Here's some background. I'm a single mother of 2 kids, Emmy, 6 female, and Oscar, 8 male. Since they were very little, I have lied to my children about needing tickets to play on the playground. I especially use this lie at the zoo and museums where admission is expensive. And because as a single mother with a deadbeat ex, I want my kids to get the full experience of what I paid for and not waste our time on something we can get for free at our neighborhood park. So today I took Emmy and Oscar to the zoo to enjoy the animals and to get out of the house. Plus, it's all outdoors and I felt safe taking them there during COVID restrictions. This is when the confrontation happened. We get to the ticket counter, and Oscar excitedly asks about tickets for the playground. As I'm trying to tell Oscar, no, we didn't get tickets for the playground this time, just the animals. The woman at the ticket counter tells my son, oh sweetie, You don't need a ticket for the playground. It's free. I could have died. My stomach sunk, and I couldn't help but glare at the woman. I remind E and O that we were here to see the animals, but they were obviously excited and asked the lady if it was true. She happily says, "Yes, honey, it's always free." I told them we had to see all the animals first, so we might not have time. Plus, with COVID right now, it wouldn't be a good idea to play with the other kids. Emmy asks if we can do the playground first, and I replied, "Nope, I'm sorry, it's the rules." The woman looked at me confused. I paid $68 for one adult and 2 children's tickets. That's a lot of money. You can see why I would lie. So I buy the tickets and shoo my children ahead to sanitize their hands. Now here's the am I the a-hole part. Oh, I'm sorry, was the lying not enough? My kids are out of earshot, and I turned to the woman and I sternly told her, "Do us all a favor and keep your mouth shut about the damn playground. I did not just pay you people almost $70 for something we can do for free at home. I paid to see the animals." The woman was visibly taken aback and asked if something was wrong. I told her it's fairly obvious that I was trying to avoid the playground. She told me she was only trying to help, and I informed her that if you were truly trying to help, you should have gone along with me, the parents, and not address my kids directly and correct me in front of them. You're going to cause a lot of headache for parents wanting to get their money's worth. I called my mother afterward, and she informed me I was an asshole for telling the woman off for doing her job. Maybe I was, but I still think a worker should keep their mouth shut when it's obvious a parent is trying to avoid something with their kids. Am I the asshole? This whole post is like reading Karen the autobiography, a life in the day of treachery and my kids. I can understand that there is a pandemic going on, and you don't want your kids playing with the other kids because it's just going to spread. And I can understand being outside and staying away from everyone else. The easy solution you've gone through here, which is not the best solution, is to say, "Oh, we can't do that because we need a ticket." No, you can't do that because we haven't got a ticket. Very morally questionable in the short term, that one, as it's skewing your kids' perception on what life is and activities are, and the costs of things that don't have a cost. But regardless, you should have known that this was going to happen eventually and had a plan to diffuse the situation calmly and succinctly. And instead, your plan was to be like, oh, what's your problem? Fuck you. How dare you say this to my kids? That just shows to me irresponsible parenting, and you don't know what you're talking about, and you didn't have a plan for any of this. Your plan was just to lie and keep it going, and then get pissed off at the person that unfolds your plan. I feel like this is another Hanlon's razor situation here. What can be attributed to malice could easily just be stupidity. No, she's full of malice this time in my opinion. Please get a grip and find better, healthier ways to tell your children no, can't go on the playground today. Then lying like this. You're the a-hole. Bad B Crow says, "You're the a-hole. The worker was just doing her job. It's not her fault you chose to lie to your children for whatever arbitrary reason." I really don't understand the "we have one of those at home" mindsets. It's like, just tell them you want to look at the animals first, and then if there's time before you have to leave for lunch or dinner, they can play on the playground for a bit. Worked for me and my brother at that age. Seriously, and there's no reason you have to lie to your kids for that. And honestly, even if you do have to fib, "Whoops, would you look at the time, we gotta go home," is much simpler and more believable than this situation that OP set up. Right? I don't know how long she thought that this was going to slide for, especially when it slips to one of the kids' friends that supposedly they need tickets for a playground. Also, OP is an idiot if she thinks it's some random worker's responsibility to keep track of every lie that some parent who isn't good at behavioral management made up to tell their children, and choose how to go about her job according to that. My fickle mind says, this is very odd. You paid $70 for the zoo and are mad that the park is included in the price, but won't let your children use it because you could get it for free at home. Then take them to the regular park instead of spending so much for the zoo, and don't get mad at the ticket lady who was just doing her job. You're the a-hole. The Citadel Council says, you're the a-hole. You are not helping your kids by constantly lying to them. If you can't properly learn to tell your kids no without having to lie to them as the reason why, you are not being a good parent. Your kids need to learn how to take a no as a final answer without resorting to you lying to do so. It's especially worse, since you are now expecting complete and utter strangers who don't know your or your kids to know to lie to them about completely unnecessary things. Do you know what would have happened differently here if you didn't lie to your kids? You say, we'll see about it, Oscar, but first I want us to look at the animals together. If we have time after looking at the animals, then we might go to the playground. If he fusses, just be firm. Then at the end, if you don't have time to go to the playground after, just say that. The worker wouldn't have said anything because you set firm ground rules with your kids that weren't outright fabrications. She probably corrected you because she assumed you didn't know and was trying to be helpful, not because she wanted to get your kids excited. Stop lying to your kids and don't sit there yelling at random workers for not following along with your outright lies. God, I love it when people get monologuing like this. What do you guys think about this one today? Would you have done the same as this lady and fabricated an entire reality where nothing makes any sense and screw you, my kids get tickets when they go to the playground, damn it? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Please tell me what you guys would do and what you think of the situation. Is OP an a-hole or not? Alrighty-o, Markee Army, I think that's where I'm going to leave today's episode. I do, as always, hope you enjoyed. Tell me what you think about it down in the comments below. If you're new, please smash that subscribe button. It's free, and you can always change your mind later. I hope you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.